New York Times best-selling author. However, you also spent, was it 18 years as a Secret Service member, and you worked for Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, and Ford, and you have a brand new book out called Five Presidents. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me on.
You have been quite candid in your past books about your role, your foibles, your mistakes, your perceived mistakes. I always thought that Secret Service men had an obligation to sort of keep quiet, and you were not allowed to sort of talk about your duty, and that was sort of part of the job.
Well, I think that the information that I revealed is strictly historical. It doesn't cause any problem for the security operation of the Secret Service at all. In fact, I've provided the books to the Secret Service, and they've indicated to me they have no problem with them whatsoever.
Okay, so this has been vetted, and this is acceptable, and we're not learning any deep, darker secrets.
No, those secrets will go with me to my grave.
Certainly understandable. But you did reveal, and the idea is more or less the human side of the political process.
Yes, I wanted people to have a better understanding of what the individuals occupying the office were really like, because they were all very, very different.
Did you like them all the same, or did you like one more than the other?
No, I like them all. Our interest is really in the office itself, the office of the president, no matter who the occupant is. It doesn't matter to us if it's a man, a woman, a Republican, a Democrat, a white, or black, or an orange, or green, or yellow. It doesn't matter. It's the office of the president, and we provide a secure environment for that occupant, no matter who it is.
Yeah. Your job is to take a bullet and to keep this person from dying, even if they were just rude to you or you don't politically agree with them.
That's true. That's our job, and that's why we're there.
Yeah. Let's talk about Richard Nixon for a while. Each one of these, as you point out, only Eisenhower had a quote-unquote somewhat normal presidency. The rest of them either left early, died in office, impeached, came in because of the situation. So each one of them had their own national crisis they had to deal with.
And every president, when he raises that right hand and takes the oath of office, that's the one thing they will all have in common.
Yeah.
They will face a major challenge in their administration.
Tell us about Richard Nixon and some of those heady days during Watergate. What do you remember about those days?
Well, he was rather almost an introvert at times. He wanted absolute privacy. He even established a separate office in the executive office building where he would go and be alone for long periods of time. Sometimes he would be alone up at Camp David. So he was a different type individual than I previously had any experience with.
Were there times where you're clearly on the you're there, you're watching the news, you know what's going on? Were there times where you thought, "Oh my goodness, this is he's under so much stress. I'm not sure he's in his right mind or thinking properly or anything like that"?
Well, there were times and certain actions that were taken that caused one to really pause and think, why would he do that? And is that really in the nation's best interest? But they do what they want to do, and that you just have to go along with it and provide the secure environment that we can.
You were on the plane when LBJ was sworn in next to Jackie Kennedy with the blood still on her dress. What do you remember about that day?
Well, I remember everything about that. It was still very vivid to me, and she wanted people to see what they had done, what had been done, and that's why she refused to clean up. She wanted, if she was going to stand there while Vice President Johnson took the oath of office, then she wanted to make sure everybody knew exactly what had happened.
The book is called Five Presidents, My Extraordinary Journey with Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, and Ford. Clint Hill is the author, New York Times best-selling author. You've been and had a front row seat at history. You're there watching history, and yet in your mind, you're there doing a job. It must be very difficult to separate the middle of watching history and understanding you have a job to do.
No, not really. The job comes first, and then we realize that this is historic, and you take it all in. But you're concentrate and focus on the job at hand.
Yeah. You were also asked to stay on with the Kennedys after the assassination, were you not?
Mrs. Kennedy asked me to stay on for a period of time, and then President Johnson agreed, and they kept me there for 1 year after the assassination with Mrs. Kennedy and the children, even when they moved to New York City.
Yeah. Were you also in the room when Gerald Ford was sworn in?
I was, yes. It was in the East Room of the White House.
Then that's our long national nightmare is over. That's that famous day.
Yes, that's correct.
What do you remember about that day?
Well, I recall I was there when President and Mrs. Nixon walked out of the South portico to the helicopter that had been positioned on the South Lawn. They walked through an honor guard of the military. Staff and friends were out there to say goodbye. It was one of those situations where normally a situation like that, people are cheering and things, but not this time. There was light applause, but there was mostly sobs and crying among the staff and friends as the Nixons boarded that helicopter to fly away from the White House for the last time.
Yeah, those pictures are sort of ingrained in our national consciousness, and you were there for all of it. He tells about it in his book, Five Presidents. Clint Hill is the author. The book is called Five Presidents, My Extraordinary Journey with Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, and Ford. Clint Hill, thank you very much for your time. Good luck with the book.
Thank you very much. We'll be in St. Louis, May 19th.
May 19th. All right, check it out. There you go. Clint Hill. The book is called Five Presidents. 9:18 here, Big 550.